Hello, beautiful beings of light. It is Aurora from Translucent Truth Yoga, here to deliver you the weekly intuitive energy update for the week of March 14th, 2022. So welcome if you've never been here before, and welcome back if you have. So the way that these energy updates work is that they are timeless, and I've kind of created a bank of different weekly energy updates so that you can use them every single week or whenever it is that you're kind of being called to ask for any higher guidance. You can use it as an oracle, so you can go through and you can just kind of click whatever one you're guided to, and that one will most likely have the information that you are seeking. Okay, so that's kind of the whole idea of these weekly energy updates, is to kind of bring you into alignment of the energies of each week, but also you can go back to any week intuitively and just pick whatever one you want. So the information will be there so that whenever you're needing guidance, it's just a click away, okay? So there's a lot going on this week. This week is jam-packed. We're kind of in this no man's land energy. We're in this birthing portal energy, which means there's a lot that's kind of coming to an end and a lot that's starting. So we're going to dive into a lot of ending and beginning energies this week. So just kind of keep in mind that as you move through this week, that there is going to be this balancing act going on as we're transitioning through all of these transitions, all of these, the equinox going from winter to fall, the astrological clock is resetting, going from Pisces to Aries. So we're just kind of in this transitional phase where life force energy is kind of coming back up and resurfacing out in the world, here in the northern hemisphere, and then within us naturally, okay? So there'll be a lot of purging energy, a lot of spring cleaning, things like this that are kind of going to start coming up for a lot of us. And now this doesn't just mean in the external, this is also internal, right? So if there's things that you've been struggling with, then this is the week that they will most likely come up. We're kind of coming out of Pisces season, so we're entering into Aries, and this is going to bring us from our emotions into taking action, okay? So if you've been feeling very lethargic, very low energy, a lot of negative intrusive thoughts, things like this, then this week we're really being encouraged to kind of alchemize that energy, kind of transmute that energy and shift it into something that is going to serve you, okay? So that's just a quick little rundown of kind of the energies that are coming this week. I just want to play my singing bowl here. I'm just going to clear the energies, ground myself in, and then I will go off the notes that I have. So if you want to join in here, you can close your eyes, connect to your breath, feel the oxygen, feel the warm, the cool air coming in through your nostrils, and the warm air leaving. And just kind of ground yourself into wherever you are. Obviously, if you're driving or something, not a good idea. But if you can, just close your eyes and connect to your breath. Calling in my higher self, all guides, all beings that want to assist us today, your higher self, to come in and work through me for anybody that's going to find this video. Okay, so as I'm sitting here and I'm clearing the energies, my body's telling me my back hurts, right? So there's like this pain on my right side of my back here, and I'm taking that as not feeling stable to take the actions necessary, okay? So the right is all about action, the left is all about the inner realms, right? The feminine. So the right side is showing me that we don't feel stable in taking action where we need to take action, okay? And that's for me as well, right? So it's like, okay, why don't I feel stable in taking that action? And then how can I work with my emotions and my subconscious mind and my beliefs to elevate myself, to realize that actually I can take the actions. I just need to figure out maybe a better strategy, or maybe get more logical with the situation instead of being like, no, I'm not good enough. No, I can't do this. It's like, wait a minute. Why do I not feel good enough? Why do I feel like I can't do this? How can I use my logical brain, my mind, my creative energy in a logical way to move forward, right? So it's kind of like finding that balance between the masculine and the feminine here, okay? So when you can't take action, it might seem like it's a masculine thing, but it's like, well, kind of uncover the feminine aspect of the resistance towards the masculine. I hope that makes sense. Because that's what I'm receiving first, right? So if you're afraid to take action in certain ways, go back to step one, go back to nurturing yourself, go back to quieting the mind, taking care of the feminine, so that you can understand why you're not comfortable moving forward. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. I have so much to come through today. So this is the last week of Pisces season. So woohoo, here we go. Out with the emotions, in with the action, right? So that's why this week is going to be a little bit rickety though, right? Because we do have, we're coming out of this Piscean energy, which is all emotional, intuitive, this higher awareness, this higher self perspective, kind of being stuck in the emotions of all of it. But in order for us to know what actions to take, we have to go through the emotions, right, that are kind of holding us back. So because again, the emotions are our subconscious mind, right? So whatever it is that's subconsciously holding us down, and what that really means is that it's our programming, it's our deep programming that came from childhood, it's our deep programming that came from past lifetimes, right? So it's like, that's why it's not always easy to move through the subconscious, because it doesn't always make sense to the human, like to my ego, to the aspect of myself that only understands linear logical thinking, right? So it's like we're learning how to collapse that linear logical thinking into the quantum, into the feminine energy, so that we're able to kind of reclaim the aspects of ourselves, right? It's like, yeah, we're obliterated, we're shattered, our soul is in fractal aspects left in time and space, and we're being called to bring it all back into us, okay? So that's kind of why, like, this dreamy energy, this Piscean energy, this emotional energy was so important for us to really dive into, because it's going to catapult us. So it's like an arrow, right? So the farther back that you pull that arrow, the farther forward it will go, right? And that's the same thing with the work, the inner work that we're doing, working on our mind, working on our body, working on our spirit, so that we're able to, again, take that proper action forward, right? So this is the astrological new year, right? So again, we're going the Pisces at the end of the cycle, entering into the Aries energy, okay? So this is a reset, and this is the beginning of a new cycle. So it's like, it's really funny, because last month we had the Chinese zodiac new year. The month before that, we had the Gregorian calendar new year. So it's really interesting that each month we're entering into this new cycle, right, of a new year, but in different perspectives, right? So it's very interesting. There's been a lot of this newer energy, right? So just kind of having this awareness that we're coming out of this and going into that is really going to help you, because again, having that emotional awareness and then having that logical side where that they can balance each other out, it's like a really nice balance between the masculine and feminine, if we so choose to have that awareness, right? If you don't have the awareness and you are really struggling, say you just stumbled on this video, then, maybe you could be needing to balance out the masculine and the feminine, like, because it's like a lot of the time we focus on one of them at a time, and we're really being asked to merge the two, understanding the separate aspects, but also understanding how they work together, because they are complementary. Even though they're opposites, they're complementary. That's the whole idea of living in this paradox, right? Of duality and polarity. Okay, so with this being the last week, we're purging, releasing, and realizing our shadow aspects. Okay, so I don't know how you guys have been feeling, but this month for me has been insane purging emotionally, mentally. Like, the energies have been so weird. Like, I've literally been manifesting the weirdest shit. So, like, if you've been manifesting weird stuff, like, call your energy back in, because right now, like, everything's a little bit wacky out in the world. Okay, like, from my experience anyway, like, just a lot of weird things are happening right now, and I believe it's because of my subconscious programming, right? And I mean, of course it is, because that's what kind of runs the show, right? So it's like, okay, what am I not aware of? What do I need to bring more awareness into, right? Like, how can I realize, like, that I'm creating all of this? So when I take responsibility for it, it's easier to move through it, instead of falling victim and feeling like it's just 11:11, and feeling like everything's out to get you, like why this keeps happening to you. All of these things is like, these things keep happening to you because you're not listening, right? You're not listening to the messages, you're not listening to the signs, you're not listening to what it is that you're bringing into your life, because all we are radio receivers and transmitters. So we're just continually receiving and giving information, right? So if we don't know how to process that information, how to differentiate that energy and the energy signatures, like whether it's a high vibration or a low vibration, a vibration that is giving you energy, providing for you, or energy that is siphoning from you and taking from you, right? So it's like, have that awareness of the energetics of what's going on in your life, because that is what is going to help you to move beyond where it is that you're at right now. Okay, so like, have the awareness, oh, okay, maybe I'm manifesting, a lot of negative people coming into my field, and then that's attaching onto me. Well, that's attaching onto you because there's a vibrational resonance that is drawing that energy into your field, and then you're taking it on, right? So there's this sense of like needing to have that awareness of deep purging, of deep clearing, and of deep cleansing, so that we're able to have that pure connection to our heart, to our mind, to our body, so that we can be fully in alignment with our, true authentic self, right? And again, this is something that takes time, but that's why it's really important to keep in the rhythm with astrology, with what's going on with the moon, with what sign we are in the sun, with what energies are conjuncting and coming together and creating squares. And I know it's like a whole new language, but it's such a powerful language, because it is literally the language of the universe, right? So when we can understand these energies that are circulating and coming through, and then we're able to utilize them, we're able to capitalize on that energy and use it to our advantage, instead of falling victim to all of our emotions and our thoughts and all these relationships and things that we don't understand. Sometimes when we just take a minute, connect to our breath, call in answers that we're looking for, look into astrology, understand what the energies are and why we're moving through what we're moving through. To me, astrology is confirmation, right? So whenever I'm going through my stuff, I look into my astrology, not my astrology, general astrology, so that I can understand, where I am at, and how how what is coming up within me is connecting into the collective energies that are circulating, right? And it just allows for me to feel like I'm not alone, to know, okay, I'm right on point. This is why I'm going through this. This is why I'm experiencing this, all of these things, right? So it's really about creating that dialogue with yourself and the universe to kind of feel stable, to give yourself some stability in your life, right? So again, purging, releasing, and realizing our shadow aspects, okay? So gaining clarity from emotional turmoil as well. So as we're going through all of these energies and we're purging, we're releasing, we're having all these realizations, we're able to actually ground it into reality of like, wow, I understand why I am this way. Wow, I understand why all of these things in my life have happened, right? That's going to give you clarity, right? Yeah, you might have to go through some really intense emotions. Yeah, you might have to get raw, real, and honest with yourself and really go deep into your shit to realize what it is that's kind of holding you back. But it's going to give you clarity. That's the whole point of it, right? Is to give you clarity. Like, we don't just go into the chaos to go into the chaos, right? Like, we go into the chaos so that we can regroup ourselves and we can find the eye of the storm, right? We can sit within that, find the centerpiece within ourselves, within all of this chaos. How can we connect to our breath, connect to our body, connect to our mind, connect to anything that fills us up, right? Instead of depletes and drains us, right? So gaining clarity from our emotional turmoil. So remember that we aren't just emotional for no reason. There is a reason, and are you listening? So connecting more to our intuition and feelings to navigate through the week, right? Okay, so again, this is why, because emotions are heightened. We're coming out of this Piscean energy, so, and entering into this Aries energy. So again, that balance between masculine and feminine are going to start coming up, where it's like, okay, the reason the first part of the week is going to be very emotional, and as we get closer to the end, we'll gain more clarity and have more awareness of why it is that we're going through the emotions that we're going through, right? So when we can learn to allow for our intuition to help us navigate through reality, it actually helps us to tap into flow, okay? Into the flow of the universe, right? And this allows for ease and grace while we're living our lives. But it's a practice, right? So we have to keep coming back to our intuition, to our truth, to our integrity, to our authenticity. Like, am I being authentic? Am I being honest with myself? Things like this, right? So asking yourself these questions and connecting to your intuition, connecting to your body, okay? Because that's really what the intuition is listening to the body. What is the body telling us? Because the body is such a genius mechanism, and we don't actually value its genius, right? And that's the thing. So we're learning how to value the genius of our body so that we can learn to listen to our intuition, right? Because our physical body picks up energies before our mind has any awareness of it, right? So it's like the more you can tap in, it's like when you get a feeling, you listen to the feeling, right? Now, of course, there's the wounded side and the healed side as well. So this is why it's like, if you get a feeling and you know that that feeling isn't fully in alignment with your truth, with your authenticity, with your integrity, then question that, right? It's like, okay, why am I wanting to do this? So it's like a balance between, again, the masculine and feminine, the logical, the linear, and the emotional and the quantum, right? So it's like connecting back to our intuition and our feelings to navigate through the week, okay? Trust your emotions, trust your feelings, trust the intelligence of your body. And then breaking through limiting beliefs with conscious action, okay? So as these things are surfacing, as we're learning how to navigate through, how do I listen to my emotions? How do I move forward in this healthy, practical way? We're going to be breaking through our limiting beliefs with conscious action. So it's like, okay, we have all these things we're realizing about ourselves. We're having all these shifts. We're having all these aha moments. And then we're getting actually the energy, the discipline, the dedication, the focus to take action on where it is that we need to actually take action. So this is a really beautiful energy that's supporting us in some really deep transitions. I mean, mind you, we're like 2 years into the pandemic now, and I feel that, you know, a lot of people are wanting to rebuild a foundation, because now 2 years later our foundation is crumbling. It is crumbled in a lot of ways, and people are starting to rebuild, okay? So, and there's that energy as well of the death and rebirth, of like bringing it all back up. Yeah, it crumbled, but now we have a blank canvas, and what do we want to create? What do we want to build, right? So that's a little bit on the last week of Pisces season coming into Aries. And now I'm actually going to talk about when Sun enters Aries from Pisces, and they're calling this the spring equinox. But I just want to kind of bring this awareness to kind of how our system has set us up to not align with the true rhythms of the universe, so that we're not in alignment. So again, I know it's like the rabbit hole just goes forever, but that's why it's like when you learn science, you don't fully learn the truth of it. You have to understand the fundamentals and the foundations before you can actually understand, you know, all the details that actually compose of whatever it is that you're learning, whether it be chemistry or biology or whatever, right? It's like you learn the simplified version so that you understand the template of it, and then you can go deeper and dive into actually understanding all the details of it, right? So don't get overwhelmed by all this information, okay? It's just information, and it will be here forever. It will always exist, right? So don't worry, and just give yourself the grace and space to just allow this information into your consciousness, into your mind, and just relax into it. Allow for your subconscious to absorb it. You don't need to actually remember everything, okay? So March 20th, the Sun is entering Aries from Pisces, okay? And the spring, they say that this is the marking of the spring equinox, okay? And so what the spring equinox is that space of balance between the dark and the light, okay? So we're now having 12 hours of darkness and 12 hours of light, okay? So this is the balancing point between winter and summer, okay? So they're saying it's on March 20th is the spring equinox because Sun is entering Aries from Pisces, but the day of balance of light and dark is actually March 17th, okay? So the 17th of March is actually the day of perfect balance between the light and the dark. So celebrate the equinox a little bit earlier than what everyone else is going to be doing, because that's actually the day of perfect balance, okay? So have that awareness as we're moving through as well. So I keep talking about this, leaving this behind, entering into this, but being in kind of this no man's land. So again, there's that energy showing us again that we're in that balancing energy of the masculine and of the feminine, right? So of the light and the dark, of winter and of summer, right? So we're right in that middle point. So spring is beginning, and life force energy is starting to come back into the earth, right? So things are awakening. We're going to want to spring clean. We're going to want to move our energy. We're going to want, and that's why we just did all that Piscean emotional purging, so that when the Aries season comes, we have this beautiful clarity and direction on where to take action next, because our inner realm has clarity and action, right? And that's why it's so important each week as we're going through these for you to stop in and check in with kind of what the energies are, so that way as you go through the week, you know, and you get to this point, say you just happen to stop in at this point and you haven't done that deep emotional work that has been kind of encouraged over the last month during Pisces season, then you might feel extra overwhelmed at this time, right? Because it's like, what the fuck? I didn't put the work in. I don't know what's going on. I'm feeling all the chaos. I'm feeling all the emotion. I'm feeling all the turmoil. I'm feeling everything. And I know that change is coming. And what am I going to do with all of it? Right? And that's why these are all practices. These are all things that you bring in each day, having these new awarenesses and just allowing for the universe to guide you, right? Instead of feeling like there is no curriculum to awakening, there is no curriculum to, you know, like anchoring in your highest self and all these things, right? There is no real curriculum. We each have our own destinies, our own timelines, right? Of like what it is that works best for us and how we're supposed to move through the energies, right? So that's why it's really about tapping into your own frequency, okay? So, oh yeah, and I also wanted to mention that we also had the time change on the weekend, okay? So we had the hour springing forward this past weekend on Sunday the 13th, right? So having that awareness too of that forward movement energy, right? So it's like all this forward movement energy is coming, all this life force energy is coming, all this action oriented energy is coming, and all of this emotional stuff is going to be calming down, okay? So trust that all of this that's coming up right now is to help guide you into more clarity, to help guide you into more certainty of who you are, more stability, more logical, linear thinking of how to take action, how to actually ground my thoughts and my creative ideas into the physical, right? Okay, bringing balance into our lives. Forward movement from dreamy Pisces to action Aries. What we purged, released, and realized will be actualized and grounded this next month, okay? So again, April is all going to be new endeavors, action-oriented, logical, linear thinking, practical, right? And we haven't even got into this full moon yet in Virgo, but again, this all kind of goes hand in hand with changing our daily habits and different things like this, right? So I don't want to say too much about the Virgo full moon yet, because I still want to talk about this Aries and Pisces, right? So going from water to fire, from emotions to action, okay? So Aries is assertive, passionate, motivated, and determined. So those are the energies that we're going to be coming into, whereas Pisces is a little bit more submissive, a little bit more airy-fairy, dreamy, emotional, universal consciousness energy, unity consciousness, right? And then the Aries is like, okay, I'm assertive, I'm passionate, I know where I'm going, I'm motivated, I'm determined, and I'm gonna make it happen. Which I think we all need that right now in our lives, is like, I do anyway. I've been needing the focus, I've been needing the direction, I've been needing to ground all of these Piscean energies in, right? And thankfully I am listening, and I am taking the action steps, right? So it's like, as we take care of our responsibilities and really listen in to where it is that we need to put our energy next, then we're able to, again, create that flow, right? Instead of being in the mind and thinking logically, like, okay, you know, like this needs to be done, and this needs to be done, and this needs to be done. But you have no energy or motivation to do that. So tap into this present moment and ask yourself, what is it that I need to do right now in this moment? Probably something you've been putting off, right? Probably something that you haven't wanted to do. But when we take care of our responsibilities, it actually liberates us into our own freedom, so that we don't have to spend our time and energy worrying about that responsibility that we should have taken care of, right? So being responsible allows for us to step into and liberate ourselves, okay? Okay, so that's that for, so this is the last week of Pisces season, astrological new year. The equinox is on the 17th. That is the perfect balance of the light and the dark, okay? And then Aries is coming in, the sun's entering into Aries on March 20th, okay? Which I think that's the Sunday. Yeah, that's the Sunday. So at the end of the week, we are going to be getting that forward momentum movement, okay? Now I want to talk about the Virgo full moon on March 18th, okay? So this is on Friday. So the full moon represents full illumination, reaping our rewards, focusing on gratitude and abundance to shift our vibration, okay? So the full moon is, when I think of the full moon, I think about reaping our rewards. I think of a pregnant woman that is about to give birth, right? Because it's at its peak, and then it will lose light from there, right? So our shadow is fully being illuminated at this time. We are focusing on what we do have, okay? Instead of what we don't have. Instead of like, oh, I want to manifest this and this and this. No, take that energy, that awareness, and that focus and bring it into gratitude. Bring it into the heart space. Really sit with yourself and say, wow, I'm so grateful for this. Like, this full moon is all going to be about gratitude instead of manifesting. What do I want to manifest? No, it's what am I grateful for? And this will make you a magnet for more opportunity, because you're in this frequency of love and abundance versus lack and scarcity, which is feeling like, oh, I want this in my life, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that the energies right now are really going to support that gratitude energy and that heart-centered energy. And then your heart becomes a magnet, right? You become magnetized to what it is, and then you just have to call that in. Now, there is action that comes with that as well, but when we can learn to ground into gratitude, then we're able to be full. We're not looking for anything outside of ourselves, right? So focusing on the daily tasks that we need to do, making sure we're eating properly, making sure we're working out, making sure we're doing our laundry, doing our dishes, taking care of the kids, making sure our bed sheets are clean. I don't know, like all the things that you need to do to take care of yourself and bring gratitude into that, right? So Virgo is an earth sign, okay? So Virgo is going to be all about the physical body and the health of the physical body, okay? So backing up a little bit back into what I was saying with the Pisces and the Aries season, kind of bringing that masculine and feminine balance, the Virgo is kind of like that right at the fulcrum of the scale, okay? So it's like we have the masculine and we have the feminine, and then the Virgo's kind of like right in the center point there, kind of balancing out the two, right? Because you can't have too much logical linear thinking and you can't have too much emotional quantum thinking, right? And so that Virgo full moon is really supporting grounding us into that neutral place, into that space of neutrality, into that space of higher awareness of our health, of our physical body, and what it is that we need to do, the action steps needed to take in order to fully take care of ourselves physically, okay? So we have potential for growth and new beginnings. This is a time of creation and inspiration, right? Because we have that balance between the masculine and feminine. So not just creativity, also like inspired action, right? So this Virgo moon is going to activate our creativity because it's like, yeah, I'm excited. Like health excites me. I want to feel good. I want to do what I know is going to benefit me in all areas of my life. So that's the action step and the clarity that we're taking, but we're also having this creative spark to be able to rearrange everything, right? So it's like, okay, we have the logical linear side good from the Virgo, and then the Aries coming in, and then the Pisces is supporting that creative flow, okay? So it's like, just be gentle with yourself. This is going to be a massive portal energy, especially with the earth coming back into spring as well. Like our mother is waking up and the life force energy is coming back into nature. So we're going to feel that, the renewal, the expansion, and the growth, okay? So we're going to have, again, that arrow energy, right? So it's like, however much work that you've been putting in is what rewards you're going to be reaping, right? So, and again, that kind of goes with the full moon energy, right? So it's like, that's why, oh, cool. So that's why we're being shown to focus on gratitude, because you've already put the manifestation work in. That's why, is like, because you don't need to call in anything else. You already have everything that you need, and you need to realize that. Oh my God, speaking to myself here. Okay, so we have analytical earth sign, goal-oriented and practical. As a mutable sign, it carries energies of restlessness and change, okay? So that's the Virgo energies. It's an earth sign, goal-oriented and practical, but it's also a mutable sign, so it carries energies of restlessness and change, right? A mutable sign just means like a changing sign, right? If you have usually like Taurus as an earth sign, I think it's a fixed sign. So that means that it likes its stability. It likes to stay fixed in that. Whereas Virgo, it kind of taps into the rhythms and the cycles of our health and of our body and of the universe as well, right? Because Pisces is across from it, right? So this is what I'm seeing right now. We have Virgo on this side and Pisces on the other side on the astrological clock, right? So they complement each other. So when you think of Pisces, the opposite of Pisces is Virgo, right? So it's like Virgo still has those dreamy aspects and that creative aspect, but it's way more grounded and way more logical, right? but it's support. They support each other, right? So instead of getting lost in addiction and lost in escapism and lost in, like victim martyr, which is the Pisces, we're actually empowering ourselves to see the linear logical side of it from a higher perspective. So I'm like, okay, I can see my goals here, I can rise above, and I can see the linear logical approach that I need to take, but while doing that, you're also in flow, in creative flow, if that makes sense. Okay? Excuse me. Okay, and then the Virgo full moon continued. So Pisces creative energies with the Virgo's practical grounded approach inspires us to awaken our creative spark and create new routines that support both order and inspiration, okay? My feet are falling asleep. I gotta rearrange. Okay, so kind of what I just said, right? So the Piscean energies are just helping balance out the Virgo energies, the Virgo is helping to balance the Piscean energy, right? So that's what's giving us that clarity and that kind of tunnel vision, but not in a bad way, not in a closed-minded way, in a way that you're focused and you're able to, like see what it is that needs to be done in order for you to get to where you want to be, right? Okay, so to harness this full moon energy, it is recommended to organize, okay? That's also very Virgo, okay? Virgo is very organized. They're very perfectionist energy. They want to have everything where it goes, label it, and all that, right? So they're very, and that's how they create their flow, though. That's how they're able to create their empires and actually have it function, because they have that organization. So we're being guided to organize our desk and our work area, organize our kitchen, organize this, organize that, which kind of goes into spring cleaning as well, right? Plan out your month, okay? That's the other thing. So plan out your month. If you plan out your month and you know what you're going to be doing, and it's going to allow for you to have some stability and create a routine around the things that you know that you need to do, right? And then last is focus on one thing at a time. Your energy flows where your focus goes, so stay grounded and stay practical, okay? So focus on one thing at a time. Don't get overwhelmed by the big picture. Keep your head down and just keep doing what you know you need to do. And if you don't know, ask for clarity, ask for direction, right? Because it's available for us right now to be able to tap into both the Piscean, dreamy, universal consciousness energy, higher self energy, soul energy, past life energy. And then there's also this third dimensional aspect of grounding that in and being able to do something practical with it through organizing all the information, right? Okay, what else do we have? So that's all for the Virgo full moon. The last week of Pisces season, the end of the astrological new year, reset, new cycles, going from Pisces into Aries. The spring equinox, actually on March 17th this year, is the actual day of balance. We have sprung forward, so we lost an hour and we're going into the future forward movement. And the earth is coming back into activating its life force energy, which is going to activate our life force energy. Okay, so as we're in this kind of no man's land, this lull, the first thing I have here is that dark energies are grasping onto the light. Okay, so have this awareness, please, as we're moving through this, as we're okay, yeah, I'm going to shed that, I'm going to release it. Well, that release is actually calling in that vibration, if that makes sense. So it's kind of this weird energy of, okay, I want to shed this, but the universe is going to come back and say, do you really though? So have that awareness, and be sure to protect your energy and to clear your energy regularly, okay? So when you are protecting your energy, you are just bringing your awareness to your body, to your emotions, to your thoughts. A lot of the time, people are psychically attacked and they have no idea. So that comes in forms of thoughts, okay? Energetically, when somebody thinks a negative thought of you, it can come to you, okay? So people can actually manipulate you through the energetic field, okay? So have this awareness and realize that doing protection practices, like even just calling in Archangel Michael of 100% pure love and light to protect you, but always, whenever it comes to your mind, oh, I need to protect my energy. Okay, so protect your energy. Call in Archangel Michael. You can do like use your hands as like kind of magnets for any negative energy and brush it off of you. You can literally use your hands just like you would a crystal or any other tool, because really we are the ultimate tool. Everything outside of us is just showing us what we have the capacity to do ourselves, right? So these dark energies are going to be grasping onto the light, so be aware and be sure to protect and clear your energy, okay? So if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling confused, meditate, connect to your breath, do some yoga, do something that's going to help you connect into the present moment, that's going to give you clarity, that's going to help move your energy as well, okay? Family dynamics within our healing and being reclaimed, okay? So these aspects of ourselves that have been fractaled through time and space, through different experiences, through different relationships, we're actually going to reclaim these aspects within. So if you had a bad relationship with one of your parents, or if, any figure in your life, you're reclaiming this, but it is mostly for family dynamics, but it could be beyond that as well. Okay, so like this is like all within though, like you're not going to your parents and saying all this stuff to them. This is just like an inner reclaiming, like you're just feeling clarity on why your relationships are the way that they are with your parents and how that has influenced you now in the present moment and throughout your life, okay? And so again, these are just being reclaimed and healed like naturally, like this is just happening on a collective level because of this masculine and feminine balancing, and even the Virgo supporting it at the focal point, right? At the fulcrum. So when we can get this balance between the masculine and feminine, the father and the mother, and then the child in the middle, then we're able to live from that whole space. And until then, we're living from a wounded space, right? And again, this is something that comes up over and over again, but there is this definite like reset happening right now. So you might, again, go through a deep purging, go through a deep releasing, go through a deep purging, but that is only so that you can actually embody these higher aspects of yourself, these healed versions of yourself, right? So you can learn to show up how your parents didn't show up for you, so that you can take care of yourself, nurture yourself, mother yourself, so that you can protect yourself, provide stability for yourself, create safety for yourself with the masculine, right? So, and then you being that child in the middle are able to be healthy, healed, and whole because of this reclaiming of the masculine and the feminine within ourselves, right? Okay, so shedding limiting beliefs deeply rooted and taking action where you know needs support, okay? So again, shedding limiting beliefs, but these are deeply rooted. So going back to the familial trauma, generational trauma, ancestral trauma, this is where all of these limiting beliefs are going to be shed. This is coming from your childhood. This is coming from your parents. This is coming from your family dynamics. This is coming from your culture. This is coming from your religion. This is coming from all of these beliefs that may not be yours are coming into question, and they're deeply rooted. So if you're feeling like you're having a meltdown, a breakdown, you probably are, but there is a reason for it, okay? You probably are because we're shedding our limiting beliefs. When we come to higher realizations, it is painful because we learn the truth, and the truth is not easy to swallow, okay? For the most part. So when we shed these limiting beliefs and like just being honest with yourself, like, wow, like I did get this toxic trait from my mom or my dad or my this or my that or whatever. I do have these toxic traits. I do have these limiting beliefs, And in order for me to not embody those anymore, I have to take responsibility for them and have that awareness, right? So that's kind of the energy that's coming up, right? So taking action where we know we need support. That's what this clarity from the confusion is going to bring us, okay? So we're not just having all these realizations and going into a downward spiral of like, what the fuck is going on? We're actually going into these limiting beliefs and realizing the truth and then gaining clarity on that and taking action in order to resolve that. Okay, and then revitalizing energy is coming in as well, right? So keep an awareness of that as we're going through this, we're also going to be invigorated from our realizations, from stepping into our truth and our power, right? Okay, so this week we're in the birthing portal of our new lives. So weird energies may be felt. This is why we must protect ourselves at this time, okay? So again, coming back to this weird energy that I was talking about. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And I know that a lot of people don't have an awareness of their thoughts, of their emotions, of their subconscious mind, of their conscious mind even, right? And so of their physical body. So people that don't know that they're going through this transformation are going to project onto other people. And that's where the psychic attacks through thoughts and emotions and different things come in. And that's why we're being asked to protect ourselves. And it's not in a fear-based mode. It is just to make sure that we are not negatively affected by all of these energies, right? Okay, and then no man's land, in the unknown, the transition, the death, and the rebirth. So this is really this week. We're in this no man's land energy. We're in the unknown, so you must surrender to that. And we're in the transition, the death, and the rebirth, okay? So keep an awareness of that. If you're like, who the actual fuck am I? And you're having all these really deep, profound questions of like, what's your life purpose? What are you here for? What's the point of life? All these things. This is because we're in that unknown energy right now, okay? So when we embrace that, when we surrender to the unknown and actually honor it, because most stuff we don't know, right? The ego, the human, likes to think, oh yeah, we know everything, I'm all knowing, but really the ego doesn't know anything, and it needs to be open and willing to learn and to grow and to see these higher perspectives, and that's not always comfortable, right? So just allow yourself to be in this transitional energy. Trust yourself that what you're putting the work into now is going to pay off, okay? So no, we're coming out of winter, we're coming into spring, we are having all this life force energy coming through us, we're having deep realizations of not only the one, the unity, God, higher consciousness, but in our own personal lives as well, okay? And that can be very overwhelming. And I recommend that if you do need help, to reach out to somebody that can help you, like myself, where I can offer you a reading, I can offer you guidance. Nothing is really out of the picture, where I'm an unconditional open channel so that I can help people kind of realize, certain aspects of themselves and maybe bring awareness to parts of themselves that they have been carrying that they just don't need to anymore. So yeah, it's a very powerful connection when you're willing for your own personal growth to go and see somebody to help you through whatever it is you're going through. And I used to roll my eyes when people would be like, well, you're so brave for asking for help. And I'm like, I feel like I've never felt less brave in my life right now, but thanks, I guess, thanks. But it is the truth. It really is the truth. When we can learn to receive help from others that have been through what we have been through before, it really does help the transition process. Because why not have a guide? Why not have somebody that can help you, that can hold your hand? You don't need to do it all alone, right? Again, speaking to myself. All right, guys, so we're going to work with this Archangel Animal Oracle. So let's see what wants to come through this week with the Archangel Animal Oracle cards. So we have Bear, use power with wisdom. Archangels Uriel and Jophiel. How perfect is that? the balance between the masculine and feminine, power and wisdom, okay? And there's that mama bear energy, right? So it's like having that protection, and knowing when to take the action and knowing when to sit still. Learning how to be comfortable in the stillness, that you don't always need to go from place to place to place. You can just be in the present moment and trust that if anything is going to come up that is going to disrupt your safety, disrupt anything within you, then you know, okay, there's the power. That's where my power is. I can take the action there. I don't always need to be taking action. Sitting still is more powerful so that I know the proper action to take, right? Whale, live as a fully conscious being. Archangel Mary and Jules. Beautiful. And now this is bringing me into the emotional side of it, right? So live as a fully conscious being. So to be human is to be emotive, to have emotions, to be empathic, right? So really we're learning how to not be afraid of our emotions and realizing, wow, like these are actually like my superpower. All my life I've been afraid to feel. I've been afraid of love. Everyone always thinks love sucks, but it's the lack of love that sucks. And that's the funniest part of it all, right? It's a paradox. It's not like ha ha funny. It's like, seriously? Yeah, it is. So it's the lack of love that stops us, right? So when you don't feel that you can love yourself, that's when you need to bring love in the most, right? To give yourself grace. And Giraffe, aspire to higher knowledge and wisdom. Archangel Jophiel, perfect. So there you go, some deep solar plexus activations. Oh yeah, and this actually totally aligns with what I've been feeling as well. So I've been going through a lot of my limiting beliefs around self-worth and feeling qualified and feeling like I actually can pull off everything that I want. And I realized I had a lot of subconscious beliefs that I'm not good enough or that I'm not qualified, or like, who do I think I am to freaking help people on their journey, things like this, right? And so I started actually acknowledging that these are subconscious beliefs of mine. Oh yeah, maybe I don't feel like I'm good enough. Oh yeah, maybe I don't think that I have the capacity to do that. Oh yeah, maybe I don't think that I can. And then once I nip that in the bud and I go, I have the capacity, I know that I do, and I actually work through these emotions, not just intellectualizing it, guys, but actually feeling it. Like, wait a minute, no, I actually can. You see, I cover my solar plexus right away. No, I actually can do that, right? So it's like stepping into the I can instead of the I can't, right? And seeing the higher perspectives, calling in higher knowledge and wisdom, right? So cool, because we have use power and wisdom here. We have live as a fully conscious being here. And then we have aspire to higher knowledge and wisdom, right? So use your power and wisdom, and also aspiring for higher power and wisdom, right? So we're on this quest for wisdom, and wisdom comes from experience, and it comes from the alchemization of knowledge, right? So when we can take knowledge and use it in a practical way, that becomes wisdom, right? When we have experiences and we take the lessons and we take the awarenesses, that becomes wisdom, right? So then you know, am I safe to sit still right now, or do I need to take action? Am I safe to sit still, or do I need to take action? So we have dog, be disciplined in your home and community life, and dove, spread messages of peace and harmony. This one wanted to come through too. Pig, maintain self-worth and self-esteem. Perfect. I love this deck. Why have I not played with this one more? Okay, so dog, be disciplined in your home and community life. There's that Virgo energy coming through, supporting us being grounded in our practical, habitual, everyday life. Dove, spread messages of peace and harmony. There's that Piscean energy coming through, connecting us back to universal consciousness. And then pig, maintain self-worth and self-esteem. Look at that, the blue rose. I love it. So yeah, so there you go. There's that confirmation there as well with the self-esteem and self-worth, right? So we're really focusing on, you know, the discipline to attain higher knowledge. And this just showed me too. Look at the swirl right up here above. It looks kind of like the aurora as well, the aurora borealis, or australis, wherever you're from. But yeah, so just like showing you the light energy, the light that's guiding you in that spiral, the spiral of life, the universal spiral of life, right? Connecting to that higher energy. Okay, cool. That was beautiful. So let's pull from the Sacred Destiny Oracle now. Move those over. So this is the Sacred Destiny Oracle. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing, aligning to our destiny timeline, right, guys? So this is the thing. This is why it's all feeling so intense. We're shedding our old life and we're entering into our new, right? So it's like, what is it that we're shedding and what is it that we're stepping into, right? So where do we need to release and where do we need to pull in, draw in, delight? So the first card is delight, okay? So it was reversed as well, right? So there's that gratitude card coming in, right? With that full moon, that's what I'm seeing with this card, is that we're being asked and we're struggling to really be grateful for what it is that we do have. And that's really where the work is this week as well, right? Saying, oh my God, look at where I am, doing some deep reflection on where you've been and where you're going. And maybe you're in a position now where a couple years ago you would have dreamed to be in, but you know, there's still always going to be problems, right? There's always going to be resistance. There's always going to be things that need your attention. So maybe you're getting overwhelmed by that aspect of life and not able to fully ground into gratitude and appreciation, right? So that delight card is just saying, you know, like, find the joy in the little things. Go out for a walk out in nature. I love it when I see the birds coming out now, and I saw a lot of bunnies, and just noticing the earth coming back to life, you know, nature coming back to life in the small things. Delight in the small things. Security. So that's why you can't delight in the small things, right? Because you do not feel safe. You do not feel secure. So how are you supposed to stop and smell the roses and enjoy the weather when you're so stressed out about how you're going to do this or that or whatever? So this is where we're being called in to have these higher awarenesses and tap into our creative flow and balance it with our logical linear mind so that we're able to create a new flow, a direction in a way that is supporting us fully, where we're not ignoring things that we shouldn't, that we need to look at, where we're just ready for health, ready for rebirth. Look at right on the bottom there, leadership. Be the leader in your own life, right? Like, if you're struggling to take care of yourself, think about how you take care of others and then redirect that energy to yourself, right? So you are being called to step up and lead in your life, okay? So where is it that you're needing to step up and lead? And then happiness. So this is like, I'm feeling like you're really struggling to connect into the delight, into the happiness, into the security. And that's why you're being called to really step up and lead. Happiness doesn't come from outside of you, okay? It comes from inside. So in order to feel that happiness, you have to connect to that gratitude, to that heart center. Let's get one more from this deck and see what else. Perfect. So enlightenment, and it is reversed, right? So this is the ultimate goal, is enlightenment, right? Is to be enlightened. And that is multi-layer, multi-dimensional, infinite, forever flowing journey, right? Like, you're just like, hey, I'm enlightened now, right? I know everything, right? And it's like, well, yeah, you can hit these plateaus where it's like, wow, I'm fulfilled, I'm in my bliss body, I'm feeling amazing, I'm you know, my mountaintop moment. But then you come down from that, because life is ups and downs, right? So it's like holding that line throughout the whole journey. so that you're able to feel that contentment when you're at the highs and you're at the lows, right? So it seems like you're kind of afraid to feel good, afraid to, you know, because you're like, well, it's going to leave me. It's going to leave me. It's going to go. Like, if I feel good, then it's going to leave. Yeah. But so does the sadness. So does the grief. But you just get afraid when that energy comes back in and you hold on to it, unlike holding on to the happiness, right? So it's like really have that awareness of like where your thoughts are going, where your heart is going. Why do you feel that you can't tap into your happiness, your security, your delight, be a strong leader in your life, right? And that's what the Enlightenment card is all about, is raising that awareness, having that higher perspective so that you're able to move out of these lower thought patterns and emotions. And then we have patience. Curse you, patience. But that's the truth of it. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself, okay? Okay, we'll do the universe has your back, and then I'm gonna dip. So here is the universe has your back. All right, joy is the ultimate creator. Perfect. So joy is the ultimate creator. So this kind of taps into what I was just saying, is like fear of the delight, of the happiness, of the safety, of the security, or maybe not fear of the safety and security, but fear of not having that and not feeling like you have the capacity to provide that for yourself, right? So it's like, instead of focusing on all the negative stuff, it's like, okay, where can I bring more joy into my life? Maybe go for a walk with your dog. Maybe go for a walk by yourself. Maybe do this. Maybe do that. What is it that's going to bring you joy into your life? Go take a dance class. Go take a piano class. Go take something that is going to teach you something new. Because that's really what joy brings, is when we can be in that expansive, open energy. So that will help you to also rewire your neural pathways. Whenever we learn something, we're opening up our mind, we're expanding our mind, we're giving our mind new thought patterns to have, right? New ways to perceive the world. So what is it that you're going to do to bring joy into your life, right? Because that is the ultimate creator, and that's where your happiness lies. That's where your delight lies, right? When I lean toward love, I am led, right? So whenever you're asking a question about where it is that you need to go next, ask yourself, am I making this decision out of fear, or am I making this decision out of love? And then be honest with yourself and tap in and go, okay, this one's out of fear, so maybe I won't do that. And maybe make the decision that you want out of love, and that will revolutionize your entire timeline, because now you chose love, and the universe definitely wants you to feel loved, definitely wants you to feel supported, definitely wants you to feel heard and seen and safe and secure. It's you that is blocking you, right? And now, not in the sense of a victim, but in the sense of that is how you're going to be able to come out of these energies, is just by being raw, real, and honest. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. Okay, cool. So I'm seeing like some of us are really going to be struggling this week. Others of us are really going to be in the flow of creation this week, okay? It just kind of depends where you're at and the work that you've been doing, right? And so if you have been putting in the time, if you have been putting in the energy during this Pisces season, then you know, following your joy and following your bliss is going to be very supportive, because you've already processed your limiting beliefs in your subconscious mind around not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, wondering like, is this really what I'm here for? Like, you've already been down the rabbit hole of that, right? So if you haven't done that work, then this week is going to be really, really overwhelming, because you're like, well, I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know anything. And you get all overwhelmed and in your shit. That's why It's just here to support you. That's all that it is. Whether you, like, this will come next year. Every year we go through the same cycles, maybe even next month, right? Like, there's so many different things. And that's the beauty of astrology, is that it's just continual. It's infinite. It's forever. It just depends on what moment we're in, where the planets are aligning in that moment, right? So this says, when I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe, right? So when I'm doing what I love, if you don't know, just start trying things that you might enjoy, right? When you are doing things that you enjoy, the universe supports you, okay? And until you know that you're worthy of receiving that support, then you will feel unsupported. In every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. Beautiful. Beautiful way to end it off there. Okay, guys, so I hope that that helped you. I hope that that, can help bring you clarity, can help ground you in, can guide you in certain ways, or even just brought some comfort to your heart today. I know that some days aren't as easy as others, and during those days we have to learn to support ourselves through it, to give ourselves grace, to be patient with ourselves, to realize that we have our entire lives to live our lives, and we don't need to do it all right now. So just slow down, connect to your breath. Know that everything is always changing. So if you're in a really tough situation, remind yourself that this too shall pass. And if you're in a very good situation, remind yourself this too shall pass, and allow that for more gratitude to come into your heart, right? Because I think as humans, we get so stuck in the slowness of time while we're living it, and we don't realize how much actually goes by that we do nothing in it or nothing with it, right? So really just slow down, connect to the present moment wherever you are, and that's what's going to help you through whatever you're going. Okay? So happy equinox, happy full moon. What else? What else was there? Excuse me. Full moon, equinox. Oh yeah, happy astrological new year and happy time change, spring forward. So I hope you guys have an amazing week. If you are needing support, I will post a link down below for you to book in a one-on-one reading with me. I'm also running a full moon sound bath this week on Wednesday, so if you're interested in that, that will also be below. Okay, so I'm sending you all so much love, happy healing, and you seriously got this. I believe in you. Bye.